allowed to start?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Terry. Welcome back to my channel, and a continued Happy New Year as we start 2021 with a bang. Recording this on Monday morning. We have a brand new setup, so we'll have to see how this all works out. I have new lights coming. Hopefully they'll be here for Saturday's video. But with a bang, had just a wild ride of a morning, and I'm hoping this is not an indicator of what the rest of 2021 will be or what January is going to look like. Today's topic is about media and women, specifically in some of the shows that I've been watching lately around with strong women characters, which I'm absolutely loving and delighted to see. And I'm going to go into a couple of them today. But one of the things that just kind of struck me, and I know I talked about it in a previous YouTube video and then a blog post, and I will put a link to both in the description, is that in 2020 I needed the comfort food of books and shows and puzzles and various different things, and I wasn't really open to many new things. And something about New Year's Eve, or with the encouragement of maybe a few too many cocktails and my son Adam, I picked back up on some new stuff and finished watching The Queen's Gambit, then watched Bridgerton, or maybe I watched Bridgerton a couple days before. I watched Emily in Paris, and I'm now watching Sabrina, and Finn and I watched Nadiya's Time to Eat. So, and I also downloaded a new book called Young Jane Young, and it seems to me that I'm out of my 2020 comfort food funk, and I'm now interested in new things, which is really good, because as I said, I have really enjoyed these shows with some strong women characters. We'll start with Bridgerton. If you haven't watched it, I recommend watching it. I think my favorite character may be Eloise. She is the sister to Daphne, who's the main woman character. And one of the things I love about Eloise is she is challenging the stereotypes. She is challenging the expectations and refuses to conform. Fortunately for her, Daphne is paving the way so that she can be perfect, as Eloise says in the show. But I love her strength and her determination and her bucking of social norms and expectations. And I look forward to seeing what happens with her in season 2. There's more than just her in here in the show. So if you can get away from just seeing it as some sort of a beautiful Regency film with some amazing sex scenes and some beautiful people, and focus on the development and the representation of strong women, I think it can be incredibly empowering. Another one that took me by surprise is Emily in Paris. And the reason why this surprised me is I was reluctant to watch it because I had heard that there were a lot of bad stereotypes in it. But Emily stands up for herself. She has a master's in communication, and she's creative and she's innovative, and she's, relentless, and in a beautiful, beautiful way. I especially love some of the things that show up, and she reached under her bed and there was a basket and there were a couple of vibrators in that. And I loved that because that represents probably a lot of us women. And there were a couple of other things that were talked about and shown that I haven't seen previously. And it's unfortunate about some of the stereotypes, and I don't like the older woman, French woman, being represented as someone who resistant to change and going along with some old norms, because I don't like seeing that in midlife women. But in stark contrast, Emily is really a breath of fresh air in terms of a strong woman protagonist and character, and I really am looking forward to the next season in that. Also finished watching The Queen's Gambit. I mean, there's some sketch stuff in there about women, and that she was a little, she's absolutely a little nuts and unhinged to some extent, but she managed to it's just great to see a woman persevere through all sorts of mansplaining and other men thinking they know what's best for her and choosing her own path, and then I'm ruining it, so spoiler alert, and then prevailing. And that was inspiring to watch, even if it was painful to see the drug and alcohol addiction and some of the codependent behavior, but to see all the men support her at the end. It was really quite beautiful. Another one that I just started watching was Sabrina, and I watched it largely because I was hoping it would be like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which I watched when I was home on maternity leave with my son Adam. My husband would come home from his shift as a police officer and find me on the couch, probably, nursing Adam or just chilling out in my pajamas, which I hadn't bothered to get out of all day long. And I was able to, and I just chilled for that 4:30 to 5 half hour. And this one is a lot darker, but what I love is Sabrina, as she is coming of age as a witch, is challenging the expectations and is really resisting what everybody is expecting of her. And she's asking questions, and she's not letting others tell her that she is wrong when she is very strong in her convictions about what she's moving forward on, and asking, well, why does it have to be this way? Standing up for herself and standing up for what's right and standing up for others. And it is beautiful to see modeled in a show. It's unfortunate that she's battling one of her aunts who seems to be going along with the program. She's perceived as a midlife woman. And I'm really struggling with seeing these midlife women who are being portrayed as ones who are hanging on to the old guard. I think I'd expect this of the boomer generation. I don't think I'd expect it of a Gen X generation. With witches, it's a little bit different from a time perspective, but I still see that it's portraying midlife women and Gen X women as holding on to something in ways that I don't think is fair and representative, but I'm glad to see that the younger women in these shows are really pushing the boundaries, challenging the social norms, and refusing to go along with it. And I like that I am seeing this. A fun one, and I'll just wrap this up pretty quickly, is watching the Nadiya's Time to Eat on Netflix. We binged about 5 episodes last night, and it's just delightful.
They were only like half an hour long.
Yeah.
So it's not like we sat for 5 hours and watched something.
Yeah, but I love how she is who she is, and she's charming, she's creative, she's unapologetic in wanting more time for herself, wanting more time for her family and her interests, and using ways to create healthy, yummy, creative food, but taking some shortcuts or cheats, as she calls it, in order to do it, but unapologetically, and then showing other people, a lot of them women, on how to do this as well. And this is just, as I'm coming into January, I'm still exhausted. I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to focus my priorities. I'm circling the wagons from an attention and focus perspective, and making sure that I'm focusing on my own personal ROI on the things that I'm doing and giving away. So asking the question, what's in it for me? And I'm going to do that unapologetically. I have given a lot to a lot of different ecosystems. I've given a lot to others, and now I just have to, knowing that that was an investment, and now the time is to take a step back and go, well, what am I getting out of this? Am I getting out of this what I had intended? And I really feel that watching all of these strong women characters in these shows has really kind of emboldened me or re-inspired me to focus on what's important to me. So I will be thinking about that and probably exploring that a lot, not only in January, but also throughout 2021, as I continue to reprioritize those things that will set me up for what I want to accomplish in the world. Still going to continue with the Women in Power, absolutely. Maybe dialing back some stuff on Clubhouse around the virtual co-working. I'm not sure I'm getting the ROI out of it in terms of either building the community or meeting people, and not necessarily seeing it in the random rooms. I do have a Midlife Madness Club, and I may explore that a little bit more, but maybe not, because I need to make sure that I'm spending time on the things that are benefiting me and my immediate family. And with that, we're trying to keep these pretty tight. I talked pretty fast, and we'll see what happens with the sound quality, with the video quality, the lighting. Hopefully this isn't too harsh, and we'll continue to explore all of this. So with that, anything?
No, we're chill.
Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to all of my new subscribers. I'm super excited. We're almost at 250 subscribers. Woohoo! I guess I do woohoo. I do that wrong. And
you can't do it wrong. That's just what you do.
well, I think hands like that's kind of lame. So I think it's got to be raising the roof kind of thing, or punching the roof up. Maybe that's just fine. Okay, I'm in analytical mode. I need to get out of it. So with that, let go of perfection, take some risks, and above all else, have some fun.